Hi there, welcome back. So today is all about art. And if I asked you to name the most famous painting of all time, what would you say? If you said the Mona Lisa, you're probably not alone. The Mona Lisa is arguably the most famous painting in the world. It's seen by more than 6 million people every year. And considering how long it's been around, that's pretty amazing. The magic of the Mona Lisa is in the fact that everyone sees a little something different in her smile. Researchers at the University of Neuroscience in Spain believe this is due to a trick caused by the mind struggling to reconcile what you see in your central vision with what you see in the peripheral vision. When you look at her eyes or a point in the background, she appears to be smiling. But when you look directly at her mouth through your central vision, that smile vanishes. Her expression actually changes depending on how far away from her mouth your focus is. And as your focus changes, the smile actually changes. Now, what if I asked you to name the greatest living painter in the United States? Well, in the August 8th, 1949 Life magazine edition, they ran a feature article about Jackson Pollock, and the headline read, "Is he the greatest living painter in the United States?" And it seems kind of odd, right? Because this is a guy who used a stick to fling paint at a canvas that was stretched on the floor. Or sometimes he would pour the paint directly out of the cans, and he created these splotches and contrasts of colors and lines. And we're considering him one of the greatest living painters. This is number 5 by Jackson Pollock, and it's listed as the most famous as well as the most expensive painting he ever created. In 2006, it took the world record for the highest price paid for a painting when an anonymous buyer paid $140 million to own it. Art historians will agree that this is the epitome of abstract expressionism. But art critics aren't the only ones interested in Pollock's creations. Neuroscience tells us there's a lot to learn about the brain by looking at the work of abstract expressionists. In his new book, Reductionism in Art and Brain Science, neuropsychiatrist Eric Kandel explains how the human brain processes abstract art in terms of line, color, form, and texture. We know that our neural circuitry is hardwired to prefer images that we can identify, which makes abstract images much more difficult to process. We don't know exactly what to do with them in the brain. Because we can't associate these forms and shapes with something we know, we instinctively search for patterns and recognizable shapes within the abstraction. And it makes the brain work harder, and actually harder in a different way, as it searches for some kind of meaning. Through the research of Kandel and others, we're learning how abstract shapes and forms engage different parts of the brain responsible for creativity and imagination. In another MRI imaging study, researchers explored the brain activity of subjects viewing landscapes, portraits, still life, and abstract art. And what they found was that the landscape, portrait, and still life evoked activity in very specific brain regions. In contrast, abstract art did not activate a unique localized brain region. Rather, it engaged different regions, and those regions actually varied by subject and by the specific art itself. Who knew that by just looking at a piece of abstract art, we could increase our cognitive power, engage more parts of the brain, and form new creative links in our circuitry? I've incorporated this neuroscience into the gratitude section of my book, Happier with Einstein. The free-flowing natural and abstract images are designed to open the neural pathways in your brain and enable deeper introspection and reflection. Give it a try and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this neuro nugget, pass it along to someone in your corner of the world who might enjoy it too. Because life is always better when you share the good stuff.